Hello, 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 hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, I'm here. This is Paolo.
Hello.
Hello, I am Margherita Ferrante. Hello, Paolo.
Ciao Margherita.
Ciao. Come va?
We are
Va
online.
bene, va bene. Sono un
We
po'.
need some time. We are like.
Ripetiamo dopo.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Okay. Hello. 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 So we'll be starting in a few minutes because our speakers are like somewhere inside the pavilions and they are trying to find their way here. And our online speakers are already here. Yes, I think that online there are our speakers that are Dr. Paolo Lauriola, Professor Margherita Ferrante, and Nathan Uchman. So welcome to all the speakers that are online and all the people that are attending here. So Gokul, I think that we can start. So welcome to all to this side event that's called Our Health, Our Planet, Our Food. And actually, this is a great topic to address even in this COP, that is the COP of adaptation. And adaptation and health are strictly related, and especially also food system. Now we are like having the final documents, and one of the negotiation force was, for example, the Coronivia. And in Coronivia, the food system need to play a key role. And in that, indigenous knowledge, there's something that we sometimes not fully discover, have even a key asset to play. So we'll start the discussion. Firstly, making some introduction. I'm Domenico Vito. I'm the coordinator of the International One Health Conference 2022 that was held in Catania this year. And here there is my colleague Gokul. Please, Gokul, can you introduce yourself? I'm Gokul Rajendran from Kerala, India, and I'm a you can join us, please. Okay, so I'm Gokul Rajendran and I'm from Kerala, India, and I'm finally a medical student focusing on Ayurveda, which is an indigenous medical system back in India. And yeah, I'm also founder of the Govardhan app, which is a social media platform for the biodiversity, where we wanted to give a username to every single plant in the world, something like that. And also, as a first step, we are collecting indigenous use of medicinal plants from around the world, so that we can show our biodiversity is so important that we need to protect that before it fades away. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, Gokul. So I will start the discussion going to one of our online speaker, that is Dr. Paolo Lauriola from ISDE International. Paolo Lauriola is not here, but was here since few days ago. And Paolo, I want to ask you, standing also to your experience with the general practitioner and the first line health professional, what is the role of food system, also vision of One Health, and especially on diets and on general medicine? So I want to give the floor for your intervention, please.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Domenico. Yes, I think that what you were mentioning is extremely important because I think that dealing with food nutrition, either in high income countries as well as in low middle income countries is is a matter which involve individual attitudes as well as collective and community and global conditions. So I mean that our choices are important to drive the collective and the community choices. First and foremost in the field of foods. And the role of general practitioners could be essential just to influence the choices of the patients, putting in emphasizing the importance of food choices as well as of physical activity. So I think that general practitioners could be a key actors in driving at the local level, in driving the change of food choices.
Thank you very much, Paolo, for your intervention. And actually, it's important, as we say, that also the diets are considered, and the diets is something that also the general practitioner can address since the phase. But all these discussion, all these elements need to be addressed in international frameworks. And one of the international also applies the relationship with food, health, planet, and also indigenous knowledge is the One Health framework. And actually, I want to give the floor now to Professor Margherita Ferrante, that's from the University of Catania, that has been like the hoster of the One Health Conference 22, in which the topic of food, but also toxicity of and like pollution inside the food chain has been like key relevant topics. So Margherita, I want to give you the floor for telling about what you are doing also at the University of Catania regarding food and environmental assessment and toxicology, but also to the One Health Conference experience. Please.
Thank you, Domenico. Many greetings to all that are linked now with us. And we can share the video for a brief presentation of our conference results, One Health Approach in Ecological Transition. And our conference will be in Catania in September, and the event was an online conference of 1-2 days to share and debate some experience of systemic approach to One Health and to possible envisions for a better systemic approach to managing urban and natural resources. And in the conference, there was a synergic dialogue among disciplinary research fields and action domains among researchers, experts, and students. And the One Health conceptual framework on the possible contribution from the One Health approach in the urban resilience capacities enhancement will be the cover of the Congress dialogue. So the One Health approach are phased in 4 domains. one domain on One Health antimicrobial resistance and epidemiological models, and one domain on One Health in transition city, big data and urban metabolism, one domain on One Health as part of the detection and human rights, and the last but not least domain, One Health vision on environmental hazard, toxicology, and epigenetics. The One Health approach is a healthcare model based on the integration of different science areas, and it is based on the recognition that human health, animal health, and ecosystem health are strictly linked in a whole system. The applied research is fundamental to recovery of environmental risk. And as you can see on the slide, several sources of risks are represented by foods. So the food quality monitoring must be a step to setting priority prevention plans. We are still managing the environmental risk, preferring the hybrid automotive green chemistry and clean energy power production. And the 12 principles of green chemistry were set for reaching a complete ecological transition. So we have to take into account these principles, and we are to be inspired to this in all activities, in all areas in our urban areas. Other issues that need to be managed timely are still not correctly perceived by people. And it is the soil pollution for old-style mineral reactivities effect, and the space waste releases is not adequate. So we have to take into account soil quality, water quality, air quality in the whole system with the human and animal health. And there is in this graphical picture you can see that there is a complex network of sources that are interconnected, and in this connection of source can be realized the environmental pollution, and especially the antimicrobial resistance. This is a very big threat of the actual context. And the state of the art of the contribution of water to antimicrobial resistance was a topic for the technical reports 2080. And as you can see, this also can affect the quality of food. And there are reported some of our papers on antibiotic residue detected in several types of animal byproducts. Especially the use of drug in aquaculture is a big problem due to the concentration of antibiotic that increase in feeds. So the cycle of by concentration make a drug's concentration in fish tissue, making a risk for the consumers. Another issue for the antibiotic resistance is the microplastic presence. Microplastic is a big issue, and these pollutants are present in aquatic terrestrial ecosystems, in human and animal tissue, and are currently recognized as hubs as well as effective carriers of these microbial pathogens besides their antimicrobial resistant gene. In this slide, you can see antibiotic consumption by country and number of E. coli bacteria resistant to antibiotic in clinical specimens, and the extent of resistance in the water of the investigated country. Another issue for the antibiotic resistance is the microplastic presence in aquatic and terrestrial ecosystem. And microplastic has a very, 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 very important. And at the end, heavy metals released from human activities accelerate the proliferation of antibiotic-resistant genes due to co-selective stress effect, the addition of biochar, maintenance phytoremediation, efficiency against heavy metals, and antibiotics via absorption, which does may inhibit the proliferation of antimicrobial resistant genes. And so on. We have many topics to talk about. At this, I think that I have presented the main issue at the moment and the main result of our conference. So
Thank you very much, Margherita.
I have finished, and I thanks to you all.
Thank you very much, Margherita. Thank you for your exposition. And it's important that these topics and also the topics that we are addressing today can also reach the policymakers. And we are in COP now, we are facing like strong decision, and it's important that all these elements need to be addressed to them. In fact, Margherita was mentioning that on this conference, we produce also a policy brief that contains 5 elements regarding the One Health concept that we also bring it here at COP to decision maker and to like impact also in the decision. So if you want to know more, please reach out to Margherita or reach out to me and Paolo, and we will like give more highlights on that. But now let's go into something that I really care and I really discover also in my life, that is the importance of the concept of One Health also in the indigenous culture. And we have here Nathan, that it's I think from Africa, right? He's working on Africa Association. I will let you introduce yourself, but very important that we consider the indigenous knowledge as a knowledge base as well as scientific knowledge. This has been rated in a decision in COP24, building an indigenous knowledge platform at the same level as SABSTA at the IPCC. So it's important to rediscover and also decolonize, we can say, the indigenous knowledge. And I would give the floor to Nathan for explain on One Health, please.
Thank you. It's my honor to be here, and just want to appreciate the organizers of this event for raising awareness and building community around these vitally important interconnected areas of child health and planetary health. So I just want to start by saying that what I have to share comes from my perspective mostly as a pediatrician, a doctor for children, and also a parent and passionate advocate for reuniting these artificially separated domains and areas of life of health and environment. Because as One Health recognizes the indigenous wisdom that is still present in so many communities around the world, and instinctively inside all of us, but especially inside of children, that we are not separate from nature, and anyone who tries to incentivize or sell that story is leading us to a dead end for more planetary degradation. So planetary health, One Health, eco health, conservation medicine, climate and health, these are all holistic health frames that we need to ensure have collaborative and partnership framings, because they're all grounded in the indigenous wisdom about how humans are a part of nature. And so the topic that we're focusing on today, food and plants and children, is a very powerful mechanism for highlighting our shared roots in nature and telling hopeful stories. In this modern era of COVID and climate and environmental degradation, hope is a powerful determinant of health. And so whenever we go outside and we go together with our children and we do it in a way that celebrates our universal beauty and diversity, it's a very powerful way to ensure that the children know that there is a hopeful future and that they are active agents in co-creating that future. So what I'm interested in is how we can move forward together and operationalize this idea and do it in a very visually powerful way, using the best of social media tools to make these kinds of hopeful stories go viral and spread. Because coming from the perspective as a parent and pediatrician, again, obesity, nature deficit disorder, and addiction to screens and technology is increasingly pervasive in the modern era of urbanization. And so getting outside, knowing where our food comes from, and playing an active role in shepherding and stewarding the soil, the environment, the gardens, the farms that create this food, this is what our children need us to do with them and for them, because this is the type of healing of the broken relationships that we all need to do to move forward together. So thank you again, just a few thoughts, and really excited about what we can do moving forward together to build this beautiful future.
Thank you very much, Nathan. A big applause for Nathan, because his words were really inspiring, and thank you for contributing to this panel. But also it's important to recognize the roles of plant medicine in indigenous people and indigenous knowledge, and also for the One Health concept. And now let's turn from Africa to Indian context with Gokul. So Gokul, how is important, for example, the knowledge of plants and plant managers that coming from indigenous culture for One Health concept, and how they are recognized here at COP also?
So thank you for like everyone who are here. Thank you, Domenico, and thank you everyone who joined here today. So from my perspective, indigenous medicine is something really powerful and really something we have to like look into. Back where I'm from India, and I'm studying Ayurveda, which is an indigenous medicinal system where we use tridoshas, etc., like stuff like that for treating diseases. But still, it's considered as pseudoscientific. If you go and search in the Wikipedia, it's shown that it's pseudoscientific, and there is a lot of paper and everything going on, but still it's not recognized as a mainstream of science or anything else. It's just considered as something like a grandma's technique of healing yourself, something like that, a witchcraft or something like that. It's not given a scientific framework, or not being given a space in the medicinal field. Like it's considered to be should be considered as a medicine as well, something like that, because most of I think 88% according to WHO, 88% of all countries use traditional medicine, and like such a huge number of people are using it, and it's not been like recognized or researched. So there is a need for our policymakers or the scientists who are out there, or people who are working on One Health, to integrate this thing into the One Health platform, and also bring up the indigenous voice. So I wanted to do something on this, to bring up this, to recognize this indigenous medicine. So I just started my own platform for that, like a social media for biodiversity called Govardhan, where we collect information about indigenous use of medicinal plants. We wanted to bring that information from the world. So like to preserve that knowledge before it vanishes away. And it's something very interesting, like we could find data about if I'm going to some other country and I'm having a stomach ache, and I could like go search it out, like in this country, which plant I can use to heal myself, something like we don't have right now. And also it's like a social media, so that we can use the crowd to validate the information. Like there's an option to like verify, like download, something like that, so that we can verify that data. That is really important for research purpose, and also to show the world how important our biodiversity is, which is going away, like every minute it is going away. So we need to show that this many plants are very important for us, and we should preserve that. It depends on the antimicrobial resistance, that we wanted to bring something more new research on plants and bring up new drugs and everything. It's something really important that we should preserve biodiversity. And yeah, that's why I brought this platform, and to make awareness about biodiversity matters. And in COPE here, that's the situation in India. And in India, people are like, in my college who study by like Ayurveda, the people are going down. This number of students interested in this is going down. The funding for this is also going down. Everyone wants to go for the Western medicine, or the medicine which is like everywhere else in the world, like global medicine, which is chemicals mixed together. But right now in my college itself, the number of students studying this is very low, and it's going down day by day. So yeah, that's why I'm here as well. In COP27, I think the situation is like everyone is talking about indigenous knowledge, indigenous food. Everyone is promoting food, everything, but no one is talking about indigenous medicine. And yeah, that is something really felt like we should address. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Gokul. I will deserve a big round of applause to Gokul for the commitment that he's doing.
It's called Govardhan. It's right now in Play Store, and we are working to bring it on iOS. Yeah.
And congratulations also for the work of the platform, because you say there was not even such a thing before.
There is nothing like that before. Just everyone want to like have a record of botanical information, but no one wanted to like include anything about indigenous, how they are using it, or anything like that. So it's like something the world has seen for the first time.
Congratulations. And also congratulations, because we have to make more applause, because this event is mainly thanks to Gokul. Thank you very much, Gokul, for doing that.
Thank you so much for you guys joining as well. If without you guys, this event will not be possible.
Yeah, thank you. And now let's turn to another part of the world. Now we are crossing all around the world, from Africa to India, but we cannot talk about indigenous without talking about Amazonia and Brazil. And here there is Moran Solbrosa, the CEO and founder of the B1 platform, but more and more things. She's also a chef, so very connected with the topic of food. And I give the floor to her to introduce herself, and also to talk about the amazing work that she's doing with food, with indigenous culture, and especially in Amazonia. Please, Moran.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. It's an honor to be here with everyone, including the experts behind me, Paolo and Margarita, and anyone else who's watching. And actually, I'm super excited to be part of the Food for Climate Pavilion, because I've been really wanting to find a way in here as a chef, as you said. I'm a chef, and actually my work in the industry got me to where we are talking about sustainability and climate change, because I worked my way up in the industry to Michelin star restaurants, and that is working with maybe the best ingredients supposedly in the world, kind of the highest form of my art, with like paint and a canvas. For a visual artist, for me, is food and ingredients and a plate, or not a plate. And when I realized how much food waste there was at that level, and that we were only able to feed the elite 1% of the world, while there were hungry people and children in the world, I immediately thought that I have to change at least my impact as someone who works with food, which is one of the basic nourishments that we need to sustain our lives and survive on this planet. And well, from then till now, I was thinking to open by reminding us, along with myself, of the quote, "Let food be thy medicine." And we are what we eat. People use that term, "you are what you eat." But if you stop to think about it, from the day we're born, whatever we ingest and digest becomes our skin, our bones, our muscles, the tears we cry. Everything that we are comes from the food that we are. And I'll take the opportunity to say, for me, I believe in holistic health includes mental health, and food has a lot more to do with mental health than people realize. And because we need to start thinking about whole systems thinking to understand that the food that's planted and grows to nourish us, thanks to Mother Earth, is growing in soil. And the soil health is critically important so that we can actually preserve the vitamins and minerals that are inside the foods, so that when our body breaks it down and absorbs what it needs and the rest is released to go back into the earth, is also giving us actually those vitamins and minerals, which with today's farming industry and where it's come to, where you can have a monopoly, one company or one, let's say one company growing such massive amounts of food, the quality of the food seems to go down. And so that we're talking now about plants. And well, I got to working with the indigenous of the Amazon, who are not only the guardians of the forest, they are the gardeners of the forest. When you speak to indigenous in general, and I dare work with indigenous from all over the world, because they are the ones who've never forgotten our connection with nature and to nature. In human development and civilization, it seems we've moved so far from ourselves, from one another, and even our food, so that we no longer touch our food. We no longer grow the food. We don't understand how much life force is in the food and what it takes just to have one tomato. Some of us do because we either are taught that or led by people we are inspired by, be it our parents or guardians or role models of different types, perhaps through studies or in all sorts of different ways. But we need to perhaps realize that we've gone too far and perhaps be humble and say, well, actually, I'm dependent on this. And so if we're talking about food and medicine and plant medicine, actually everything that we have, that we wear, that we eat, even this microphone, is a manipulation of natural ingredients, chemicals that we have engineered to become what we see around us now. I think we've reached a point where we perhaps as humans can create almost anything we want, but we need to now take more responsibility perhaps for the impact of that. And that, saying that, the indigenous, because of their continuous connection and actually passing down of the connection to nature through their culture and wisdom, respect the place of plants in our lives. And therefore, when you say medicine, we have a doctor on the stage. There's a lot more preventative medicine that comes from eating well, eating healthy. And also this, I'd love to expand on at some point one day, and perhaps how, although we are one species and we are all human beings, or, yes, human beings, we all have each have individual systems that we have to be aware of and tend to. What my needs are could be different than Domenico's needs, and so on and so forth, although we are all human. So to me, the metaphor of food goes also beyond what we feed our body. It's also what we feed our mind. And if even the 6 of us here could even share this so that people know where to find this kind of conversation, this kind of food for thought, maybe this can plant a seed and then hopefully have an impact on whoever is watching this even after the fact, after COP, after today. And the indigenous garden from the day they are born. I don't know if it's exactly the same culture for everyone, but there are cultures where on their birthday, they're taught from age 1 to plant a tree or a seed. They don't even throw away the seeds from cooking, which we take for granted. In a pepper, the hundreds of seeds that are inside, or a tomato that's inside. And if we kept those, we could actually use them, regenerate them, pass them on. They contain DNA for life inside each one of them. And that in itself is also a food that can be seen to be like medicine. So I believe I've spoken quite a lot. I'll pass back the microphone, but that is why I think the indigenous knowledge and the wisdom, if we do whatever we can to preserve the knowledge, the wisdom, appreciate that they are sharing more and more with the rest of the world because they understand we're all connected, then I believe we have a really good chance at not only surviving on Earth, but thriving. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you, Moran. Thank you very much for this intervention. Actually, I'm really plenty and full of like gratitude and help for your intervention. Really, I'll pass the floor to Gokul to close.
Thank you so much, everyone. This was a wonderful event, and everyone like had their own like really cool, really insightful, really insightful, and also key points from different different regions like Amazon, Africa, and Italy. Yeah, we know that. Italy, and from my side, also from the COP27. And yeah, it's thank you everyone for coming. Yeah, it's really, and thank you everyone online as well. And we have something.
Sorry, just
yeah.
a few seconds. I want to highlight how important language is in relation to who we are and who we are becoming and what we can become. And so English and some of these other global languages are good for communication, but many times they are not our mother tongues and they are not the languages of our heart. And so to honor my parents, my family, my wife, my children, who are very much together with me in this work, I want to just share some few expressions in Swahili, a language for East Africa and one of the official African Union languages. So, pamoja twaweza na bado tuko pamoja. And that means together we are able and together we remain. Asanteni sana. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
So with that, do anyone has to add anything else in their own language, because it's indigenous food and culture? Yeah.
Okay, please, Moran, if you want.
ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In Hebrew.
Ok. Se non te scerri mai dalle radici che tieni, rispetti puro kidde degli paesi lontani. Actually, this sentence is in a local dialect on the southern region of Italy. It means that if you are connected with your roots, with your indigenous culture, then you can respect also the other cultures, the other indigenous cultures all around the world.
Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Something like the world come together and like be happy together. Something like that.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you so much for everyone joining. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Margarita.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Polo.
Bye.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining. It was really appreciated. Like this event was not possible because of if you guys don't join. You guys made this have life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you're online. Thank you so much for joining. And that's it.
Bye. Let's make a photo.
Thank you all. Good luck.
With them. Don't, Paola and Margarita, please don't leave. We will
Don't
take a
leave that
photo.
we can make a photo.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Ciao Domenico, grazie. Ciao Margherita.
Ciao, ciao Paolo, ciao Domenico, grazie
Ciao a tutti.
Gokul. Thank you, bye.